Hello guys, Video Psych here. Yep, here again to talk about the sensitive topics. What can I say? Well, there was a couple people not too long ago that asked me the question, why am I trying to replace women? And I'm guessing this is probably without even watching any of my videos, which is why I'm making this one here, because I'm kind of getting really tired of this. Now, this has only been asked me a couple times recently, but this was asked to me numerous times throughout me making videos from people not even watching a single one of my videos probably. And again, this is the reason why I'm doing this. So here we go. It's already been like the past 40 seconds. Wow. But, oh yeah, I was going to read one of the comments here. Let me bring it up. Video is like, why are you and many other men, aka love doll owners, trying to replace women? And so on, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm not going to get into some of what she's saying because I'm a hard person to offend, but even I got a bit offended by what she was saying. So I'm just not going to read the rest of this because what this lady is saying is just complete bullshit. And I deleted her comment. So, I'm such a shit sometimes, what can I say? But moving on from that. So, but I will talk about some of the things that she was talking about, though. So, first off, I mean, it's just ridiculous, the thought process of trying to replace women or women trying to replace men in general. Now, it's not like we actually, lots of times, I mean, nowadays, plenty of times people actually don't even have sex anymore to have children anymore, actually. There are plenty of cases where they'll even go to a sperm donor to get a child nowadays, etc., and then on. And they've been doing this actually for a long time now, actually, since even before I was born, and yet people are so worked up about sex, etc., and I don't completely blame people being worried when they first learn about this type of stuff and they first see it. But the problem is that lots of times when they first see this stuff, they see the negative propaganda about love dolls and this type of science, which is another reason why I talk about this stuff, because nobody else or hardly seems to be talking about it for whatever reason. There's nobody defending it. There's just some doll owners showing off love dolls from companies and saying dumb shit about real doll because they can't afford it. But anyway, moving on from that. So, I mean, me personally, I don't hate women. But when you say somebody is a hater, what you are saying is that this person is violent towards women. In this case, let's say. What you're saying, when you label somebody as a hater, is that they are violent towards either, let's say, a species, a race, women in this case, or even men. Some women are also violent towards men. And that is what classifies them as haters. They quite literally see them as the enemy. Just like how a lot of people joke about how they're antisocial, and I will talk about this a bit later, but they will say shit like, oh, I hate people. Well, what you're saying is that you literally see people as the enemy and you are violent towards them, is what you're saying. So next time you say something like that, just keep that in mind. It's actually it's not funny. It's not no funny business. I mean, it sounds funny when you say it, but when you actually learn about it, it's actually not very funny. So I'm definitely not a hater. In fact, I'm very far from it, if anything, and I'm probably one of the least racist people on this planet, or at least as non-racist as they get. So moving on from that. Now, there are some guys out there, though, that will talk about trying to replace women with these love dolls, and my advice is to just not even listen to them. And it's because sometimes these people are angry at women or women that have done bad things to them in the past or recent past, etc. And you could at the very least say that a majority of these guys have not had, I'd say the good experience from women, to say the least. But just keep in mind that I sometimes think that these guys are frustrated, and again, they haven't had the good experience from women, and they're lashing out, and they need to get better. They need somebody to talk to, and to just not listen to these guys too much is my advice when you hear a guy say something about replacing women with love dolls. Because here's the thing, love dolls can be therapeutic, and they can in a way provide sex that feels like sex, initially, but they aren't, I would say, anything that would replace women otherwise. But other than that, I don't know. Plus, there are some guys out there that feel that since they have equal rights with women, that now the rights are unequal, because now women have some room to defend themselves, and even, let's say, I wouldn't say attack, but I would say make a defense against a man nowadays. And throughout history, for thousands of years, women weren't able to do that. But now that women are able to do that and even come up with a case on men, etc., now a lot of men, I would say, since this is still kind of a recent thing, feel threatened by something like that. And some of them are even afraid of women, it seems like. And because of reasons like this, sometimes guys might, have second thoughts about getting into a relationship with women sometimes. But, I also encourage a lot of guys, I always try to encourage a lot of guys, even on this channel, to sometimes, at least from time to time, go out, talk to some women sometimes, and just know the fact that not all women are like this. Not all women are going to try and screw you over. Just like, there's also good and bad men, also good and bad women, etc. That's just how it is. It's just, there is one thing about this, though, is that I do think that plenty of women over time, in the past, I would say 30 to 40 years, have become greedy because of this. And now they're trying, some women, not all of them, but just some women, are acting like they are, I don't know. Like, basically what they're trying to do is that they're trying to have the same kind of rights that men used to have over women, is what they're trying to do. They are getting overly greedy, and they're trying to, let's say in a nutshell, get, I would say, too much power, per se, than is really needed. They have become greedy. I swear. I mean, it's just so ridiculous, you know what I mean? But enough about that. And, some of these women are calling themselves feminist. And a feminist is somebody that fights for equal rights, not unequal rights, by the way. So if somebody like this is calling themselves a feminist, just don't believe them, okay? So again, moving on from that. But there's actually plenty of people out there that have one of these love dolls, whether it's a woman. Some women are more so are getting these love dolls now. But, is there still a lot more men that have them, at least for the moment. But just keep in mind, these things can also be quite heavy, especially when it comes to the realistic ones. They can be on an average of 50 to 60 pounds. And lots of women tend to not like to carry that much. Not to mention, it's still quite a bit easier for women to get laid. I mean, noticeably easier for women to get laid. I mean, it's like 3 times better to get laid as a woman than it is a man. The only problem, though, and I've said this in the past, is that women have it much harder to find somebody that's, going to marry them. It's very easy for them to find sex, but it's very hard for them, depending on where they're at, to find somebody that will actually marry them and will actually treat them right. Just so you know. That's kind of the turn off from being a woman. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess that's not important at the moment, but yeah, I mean, and again, not all love doll owners are like this. I mean, lots of times people that actually buy this stuff nowadays are actually just everyday people like myself. I work at a factory. I work at an ad factory here in this area, you know, and I don't even interact with it or anything much at lots of times, actually. Sometimes I will use her, but lots of times she's just kind of in her area where she's stored, and I'm just off doing my, you know, everyday thing, just being a regular guy. And the reason why I got mine is because, I mean, when I first started getting one, is because I was kind of thinking like, well, you know, maybe I'm wanting into a relationship at the time, but at the same time, I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm just fine. I mean, and getting into a relationship is going to make me any happier. And I just knew that's how it was going to be. I just knew it wasn't going to make me any happier, you know. And the only reason why I wouldn't get one when I had, let's say, was in a relationship per se, was just due to the extra cost, because these dolls can easily get very expensive, in the thousands of dollars. And I'm not going to be paying that kind of money for a love doll when it's like I've already got a woman with me that I'm paying like $30,000 for, depending on the kind of woman that I'm with, etc. But even your average woman is going to cost you over time like a ton of money. Especially when you have kids with her. Oh my God. And so, yeah, I mean, either that or maybe there's just the possibility that she didn't want me to have one, and I'd just be like, okay, I guess I'll just get rid of it. But, you know, these things tend to not be returnable, just so you know, guys. Especially when you've used it. If you've even touched it, these things are not returnable. I'm just giving you a heads up there for anybody that is thinking about getting one. So, yeah, with that being said, yeah, I'm definitely not a hater. And please watch my videos before you guys put a comment down. And because some of these comments I've just been deleting lately because I'm just sick of it. And then you see me making a video later about it because I'm just getting really tired of it. I've had enough of the hate getting pushed towards my way, or people trying to argue with me about shit before they even watch my videos, etc. So with that, I'll just end the video here, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.